Hello there, Outliers. Niyama Shang here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey. We have an incredible roundtable here of four awesome and inspiring outliers who are really just like living their life and doing it in a way that is, I guess, extraordinary, as in extraordinary. And so I am really excited for you to get to know these outliers and see how they keep expanding their game to create more impact, more income, and uplevel their identity all the way through it. Why don't we give you a chance to get to know these outliers? Celeste, I'm going to come to you first here. Would you mind letting us know more about you and the game that you're currently playing?
Yeah, thanks. So my name is Celeste Moore. I am a certified image professional. I help entrepreneurs, C-suites really discover and master their own unique style so that in return they can command presence in any room that they walk in. Yeah.
Like, and just so I'm seeing this here, like, is this like their virtual style? Like, is it like their clothing? Is it like, is it all of the above? Like, can you help me see what like
Yeah.
makes you?
So as an image consultant, it's a good question. As an image consultant, we have a holistic approach to image. So that's everything from your colors, your style, to your body language, to the way that you present yourself, and really matching your professional goals with your true identity, your personality DNA. And I know that's like a whole nother thing, but yeah, I basically just take out everything that's in you, in your inner energy, onto your outer appearance.
Wow, I'm so glad you're here, Celeste. I had a conversation. I was in a part of a group, and someone had worked with an image consultant, and they talked about the colors in their life, and it changed the way that I dress because I was like, oh, I need brightness. I need bright. They're like, no, when we see the brightness, we just see bright. We don't actually get a chance to see you. And so when I think about the work that you do, I recognize just how valuable it is. And I'm really glad that you're here to share and talk.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Celeste. Why don't we now just come over to Iryna? Iryna, give us a chance to get to know you and the game that you're playing.
Thank you. My name is Iryna Barnett. I am one of the co-hosts of the amazing podcast called Moments That Define Us. Me and my amazing co-host Bella started this podcast over a year ago, and what a vision has been, was, and still is to have a conversation with amazing people and see what their defining moments, right? And that's either about their life or what's happening in the world, what's happening, how they are changing their life and how they're changing the world and making it better. So connecting people, helping people heal. And because I believe that sharing our story, either that's a story of struggle, of trauma, of goodness, of happiness, help other people feel like they are connected, like they are not alone. So that's the game that we are playing, the podcasting game, and connecting and healing people in the through the storytelling.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. You also mentioned your co-host, so let's get to know Isabella. Mind telling us more about you and the game that you specifically are playing?
Yeah, so like Irina said, we started this a little over a year ago. Irina is actually from Ukraine, and so she brings a really cool perspective. And we work together. We're different generations, so it's really cool how we get to talk to people and share those stories and bring different perspectives to the table. Um, the world is really divided right now. I think we can all kind of agree with that. And we wanted to bring a safe space where every story is important. And I think if you get to know someone on a deeper level, you can relate to them. So that's kind of how I envision it. And we kind of work together, and it's just been an amazing journey.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Isabella. Let's now also get to know Joseph. Joseph, do you mind letting the outliers know more about you and the game you're currently playing?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Niama, for the opportunity. I'm really grateful for giving me the chance to appear on this incredible panel. I'm Joseph Atejemfi. Professionally, I'm a medical lab scientist. I'm the seventh of seven children who lived with a single mother in Ghana. My podcast is School of Mentorship and Personal Development. I have realized that one of our greatest gifts that we can give to the world will be somebody we introduce to another person. You might not have all the money to give to somebody, but you might be able to introduce somebody to one person or two. So for my podcast, I have decided that I will introduce these incredible speakers, men who have gone, women who have gone, and those who are around, and the incredible things they are doing, so that by these things, my audience will also be transformed. That is what I'm currently doing.
Y'all don't mess around, do you? Like, I really am grateful to be in space with you. Like, I can feel like energy rising where I'm like, all right, y'all have all like decided to come and play. And I want to like dive into that overall. Um, let's see where we start off. Celeste, I'm gonna come to you first here. And this question might be just for you. We'll see how it continues to evolve here. But you said some things that were really like thinking about the image consultant. I think there's a lot of outliers out here right now that are uh, conscious of the image or how things look, and use that to like keep them from deciding to even show up in the first place, right? So I'm really curious about like how the work you do like continues to like let people out naturally, and what you find that to have been something to help people actually show up or let themselves be seen in a more full way through the work you do.
Yeah. So if I'm answering this correctly, so what I provide for these people is really allowing them to own their personal identity, to own their personal DNA. It's basically who they are inside, their yin, their yang energy. Are they extrovert? Are they introverted? What are their hobbies? What space are they in professionally? Creating that with really like taking 60 of their best colors out too, because those colors also have energy, and that energy is who their personality is, and really taking all this out and creating a transformation for them has been huge. It allows them to show up in the way that the world should see them, because um whether it's mostly professionals, but I deal with a lot of speakers because I'm also a speaker. And how do they present themselves on stage? You know, they're all the experts in their fields, but it's really allowing others to see that by visually looking at them first, because our image says something in within a matter of like 2 seconds before we even say anything. So it's just been a really powerful transformation in allowing people to discover who they are.
Yeah, I think it's really fascinating to like to combine these things here because I hear the depth in what you're saying as this comes in, and it's interesting because there's so much depth in something that could be translated as a surface level thing, right? Like what's happening on the outside, and you're like, oh no no no, what we're doing is we're showing what's happening on the inside and bring that on the outside, and make sure that there's things in alignment. Is that a fair way of
Yes,
me putting it?
100%. Yes.
Yeah. I love that because like I think like one of the bigger parts I try and do inside of this podcast is to help outliers get exposure to other people who they might see on the let me put it this way. One of my coaches said to me, we often compare how others look on the outside with how we feel on the inside. and
Mm.
and I think that like that's the edge part of Outliers Edge. We'll get to that here, like as we come in to like make sure that we actually get the chance to see that. So here goes a question for all of you. I think I'll do this in I'll do what each of you. I would love for you to respond to it. So I'll go to each of you individually this time. Celeste, I'm going to come back to you again. Uh, what what's a belief that you had about yourself or the world that you needed to up level in order to play at the level you play right now? So what's a belief that you need to up level in order to unlock your current level? Start with you, Celeste, and then we'll go around.
So, a belief that I carried with me for a very long time was that I was not worth the success that I currently have and am currently doing at this moment. And little did I know that was obviously incorrect. The moment that I really loved myself and said it's okay to love myself without ego attached to it, really embrace who I am and dial in with my passions, that's really when my career started to go in the direction it is now. And I'm very grateful. It wasn't just like one day I was like, I'm worth it. It took a lot of, and it still takes to this day, a lot of internal work, which when you do that, things really start to move forward for you.
Appreciate that. Let's go to Iryna. Like, I'm gonna get everyone to respond to this question here. So, like, what's a belief that you had that you needed to up leveled in order to play the level you play on now?
You know, Niam, I was just listening to what Celeste was saying, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can so relate to that. And I don't know if that specifically goes for women, or I'm sure men feel that, but women, I feel like more. So I used to think that I was not good enough, right? And plus, you know, like so Bella mentioned, I grew up in Ukraine. I grew up in a really small, it's not even town, it's a village, right? To where you're not supposed to even get out of there. You're supposed to be there, kind of, you know, get married young, have kids, and not even travel. You know, I traveled for the first time when I was 19. It was my first time ever getting out of the country and being on a plane. And I came, my first time I decided to go across the ocean because, you know, why not? And so for the longest time, just from, you know, being from Ukraine, and the beliefs they had about like what I deserve and didn't deserve, that took me also a long time. I didn't think that therapy was, you know, was for me, or I used to judge people who go to therapy, and now I'm very big proponent of mental health. And I think working on yourself, and also, you know, I just turned 40, to stop really caring what people think, you know. And another thing that I also learned when I turned 40 is that you have to really listen when universe is speaking to you. And maybe that's a little like out there, but really the universe will give you this little signs, and it is your choice to see them or not, but they are always there. You are put on this earth for a purpose, and you might find it when you're 20, you might find it when you're 40. For me, it was when I was 39. But yeah, that's for me what I had to unlearn, and still doing that, gosh.
Feel you on this shit. Like, that element even of like you weren't even supposed to get out. Like so this is what I'm talking about when I talk about outliers. It's like it's not like you're trying to be different. It's just that like you left the world that you knew, and now going forward, everything you're like you get to make it up, you know, and you get to keep going and creating. So thanks for bringing that in, Irene. I'm excited to see where we take the rest of the conversation from there. Isabella, I'm going to come to you now. Like I'm curious about you. What's a belief that you had to up level in order to play at the level you do?
My God, I think that failing was negative. I think with this industry, with everybody that we're here with today and outliers, um, failing is so important. It's just a mistake. It's a learning opportunity. And I think just for a while, it was so scary. Like, I don't want to do this because what if I fail? But there's also, what if you don't fail? What if things, what if something great happens? So, like Iryna was saying, I also truly believe this. I feel like the universe gives you signs. So if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be, but it will lead you in the direction that you're supposed to go. So changing that belief and being like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it, and I'm going to fail fast, and I'm going to listen to the universe in whichever way it's pointing me. I'm going to just keep going with it. So that's kind of what I've learned.
Thanks so much, Isabella. Like it's cool. It's like I'm seeing smiles, I'm seeing nods. I'm like, yeah, we're feeling you. We get this. Yeah, we get this. Joseph, how about you? What's a belief that you needed to up level in order to play at the level you do?
Your question helped me to remember a quote by Les Brown. I remember listening to him. He said that his experience, or the impulse that he had to dream, had been beaten out of him by the experiences that he had gone through. And that was the perfect moment I was in. Just as I said, I'm the seventh of seven children with a single mother, with no luck, with no hardship. But now we know that whatever the mind conceives, if it believes, it can be achieved. Initially, I was living with a lot of limitations. I doubted if I can do anything worthwhile or bring any impact to any part of the world. But now I believe that whatever my mind conceives, if only I believe, I'll be able to achieve it. Yeah.
Y'all are playing games here that really excites me, and I want to check in with you Isabella, you brought up fail fast, and I want to give some space here to this here. So what I'm curious about, and now like I'll just kind of toss things into the group here, and let's see you all just take the conversation. I'll unmute when we need to change things up. But I want to be in the space of failing, right? And checking out for you all around like, let's make it this way. What's something that you took on recently where it ended up being, you did not get the results that you really wanted. You ended up it being a failure. What's something you took on recently that ended up being a failure for you? And then what are the steps that you take to like continue to navigate? Like what did you do afterwards, right? And we'll see where the conversation goes along this line here. Is anyone feeling called to share one of those stories with us? Yeah, so Les, please.
Yeah, so this is I don't like the word fail when it comes to business anyway. It's a learn, like you said, it's a learned lesson. Like that just wasn't for you. And the faster you can move and shift, that's, better. So I have been invited to New York Fashion Week for the last 3 years. And this particular year in September, when I was going, I had a chance to provide a sponsor for the show. And it didn't work out at the last minute. It was like he had a death in the family, and I'd been working really hard for like 3 solid weeks, going back and forth and making sure that the integrations worked out. And it just didn't. It fell flat the last minute. And this was a big show. It was with Anna Delvey and Kelly Catrone. And at the end of the day, like, I'm not gonna lie, I came home, from, well, it was like the day before, and I just was like sitting in my stuff, and I was like feeling the deflation. And I was allowing myself to sit in it for a minute, because I truly believe you need to sit in that emotion to move past it. But then I was like, okay, well, this wasn't meant to be. For whatever reason, it just wasn't meant to be this time. Now moving forward to February Fashion Week, this is when the integration is moving into, it's just, this is when it was supposed to happen. So I think taking those moments of when something that important, or you worked hard for something and it didn't work out, it's okay to feel like the things, and then just know that you just need to keep doing the thing, keep moving forward, keep not knowing like what the universe really has in store for you. So if you keep moving forward and move past it, like usually things are just going to be where they need to be. So
I'm excited for you. So when this episode comes out, it'll probably be right before February. And so like, for those of you that are listening in real time, like we're rooting you on. So that's with this year here. Thanks for that. Thanks for bringing that in. Let's keep the ball rolling. What else is coming up for you all?
I have a story to share. So I graduated in 2020, and just thinking about like Celeste taking that like moment to just like feel your emotions and continue moving forward. So I actually got my degree in fashion merchandising, and I don't do anything with it now, but I think it helped in a lot of ways. But I had an internship set up with Harley Davidson, and I was really excited for it. But as we know, the world shut down. So I got nothing. It canceled. I ended up getting a job at a lawyer firm, which I'm so grateful for, but it was another failure on top of that. And it just, when you know something's not right for you, you can just feel it inside of you. And so I think instead of, just sitting there and feeling it and just feeling sorry for myself, I reached out to a friend, and I ended up getting an internship with a social media company, which was incredible. But it was cool because I allowed myself, like, okay, the Harley Davidson thing didn't work out. This thing isn't working out. Let's take an opportunity to feel those emotions, but let's move on and let's find something that does work. And just like learning that it's okay if something doesn't feel good. It's okay to feel it, but also like, let's move on. Let's get to the next level quickly. And then if you fail again, but let's keep moving forward. So that was really cool. And then I got into the social media job. And I did like a paid ad, and it got like over 1 million views. And I was like, this is the universe telling me this is where I'm supposed to be. So it was cool to see like how different failures lead to different things. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah.
Joseph, anything for you?
Yeah, sure. I can really relate with what Isabella just said. Just recently, I decided to bring a group of young people together. I'm very passionate about youth empowerment, and I had put in a lot of publicity. Just as Nayama, you have, I want to get a community of young people who share dreams together, who have aspirations about life. And for those of the young people who are in the community that I grew up, most of them are living with limitations. They find it difficult to think that they will be able to do anything important in life. But with all the publicity and the hard work that we put in, the groups that we have created, on the day of the launch, we realized that only a few people had joined. And this is something that we had spent hours and months and days in. But just as my colleagues have said, we know that that is just the beginning, and it is a stepping stone that we can use to move to a better place and then work it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm thinking about some right now I'm in the middle of changing up the way that I'm doing business. And when I say I'm in the middle, it makes it sound as though like last week I did this year, but like I feel like all of 2024 was me like consistently tweaking and trying to find ways for let's say the business that I wanted to lead to emerge from itself. And so I this question here is for any outlier that's out there who's in the middle of almost like open heart surgery, you know, and they're like, you don't ask the surgeon in the middle of open heart surgery how the surgery going, because you can look around and you can see it's a big old mess, you know. And like I'm like, so I'd be curious for you all, what's playing out for you right now um either is a mess right now that you're navigating through, or like as you navigate through the messier parts of the business, the things where you're like, okay, this should have already happened. This like where like how is this all going to come in? Am I actually on the right track or not? I'm curious about how you all like look at that, and if you can make it real with an example, that'd be awesome. But I'm thinking about us outliers who are like, I'm used to things going really well, and it's been a while, and I don't know if I'm like in the right move or in the right place or not. And if you got anything on that one? Yeah, Celeste, let's come to you. It's fun because like I would go and I'm like, Celeste, why don't you get us started? I'm like, no, this time I'm just gonna let it happen. You're like, I got this. I'm like, oh, that's fun. Thank you, Celeste. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead and share in.
So it's interesting. This whole year for me has been like that, 100%, because I really pivoted in January of this year. I killed the dating coach that I was at some point. She died. She had to she had to in a very extreme way. And I had to eliminate that because my image consulting business, which I always had part of that, was it got, I guess, drowned by the date coach. So I really needed to go back and look internally and like what really drove me, what really wanted my passions were. And so doing so, it's like, okay, doing the whole, I guess, soft rebrand, right? Of the websites and the messaging. And like this happened again in July of redoing the messaging. And it's currently happening once again because I'm leveling up. I'm moving into a more luxury type of business. And it just happened naturally with now I have styled celebrities and actresses. And that's not really where I wanted this to go or necessarily said this is the direction, but it's just happening. So as my business has pivoted, and this is only like less than a year, people. So it's okay to kind of shift and change and move and pivot and whatever. And at some point it'll be a little bit stable. But as entrepreneurs, as we all know, things move and shift all the time. And you have to in the business world. Just learning to be flexible was, and still is like, it's fun, but it also, is challenging. So, the website should be done already. This is like ridiculous. 2-3 times. Let's at least get something it's up for at least 2 years before we mess with it again. So, that's just life.
Well, I really appreciate that because like it's like the life is happening, but like you're not on the sidelines of it. So like what I'm like part of what I'm hearing is like you're not waiting for the website to be done. It's just like it gets done. You're out there like in action, and then yeah, you know what it is? It feels like the your website is trying to like catch up to you, And I think that a lot of times other people are like, well, unless I have the website and it says all these things, then who would take me seriously? And they flip the order around. But you're always just like outpacing like it keeps kind of like catching snapshots of you, and you're like, yeah, but the opportunities are growing, the people I'm meeting, like my skill set, like all those keep growing. Let me see, Celeste, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm
Mhm.
getting that kind of feel where it's like, oh yeah, this is actually not about who you want to be, but it's like it keeps capturing who you are.
Yeah, it's so funny you said that because me 10 years ago in business was the opposite. I was waiting for things to be perfect, waiting for things to be all done and put in order and all the SOPs and all the website before I actually took action. And that doesn't happen with my life. Yeah, it's actually the opposite. And so, yes, because I am truly passionate about what I do, because I put myself in the rooms with people that are more successful, because I'm constantly pushing myself every single day. It's not once a week or once a month or twice a year. Every day I'm doing something new or pushing myself or meeting new people. And if I didn't have that mentality, I wouldn't be where I'm at such a fast speed. It's been exponential in just the last 4 months. So it's just, uh, keep going and like follow the path that feels like you want to be around those people. Right now, I don't have the toxicity. Now I have only people that are doing the same things in life.
I feel you. I have so much that I want to say, but I also like I see Irina, I see Isabella, I see Joseph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on mute and I'm going to let y'all take over the conversation for a bit. Go ahead.
Celeste, I feel like you like talking my language because especially when talking about perfection, I think perfection is the killer of all joys in the world. Because that's also like a thing that I've been dealing with perfection my whole life. And now that I reflect back on that is like, oh my gosh, that's why things weren't happening, because I was just like you. I was waiting for everything to be perfect, crystal clear, table set to the T, right? And if it's not, like, this is not happening. And we recently had an episode with somebody where everything went like this, right? And I was like trying so hard to control it and make it perfect, and the universe was punching me in a face like so hard and saying this is not going to happen, and it didn't. And it was like such a learning experience for me that now I'm not saying that I'm in recovery for perfection. But it's just like, oh my gosh, if a lesson that your listeners can learn is like, get rid of perfection, leave her or him or them out, and just go and be imperfectly perfect self, because life will be messy, like life, business, motherhood, relationship, but like we have to pivot constantly. Like if something doesn't work out, you can just sit and wait until it's perfect. You go and try new thing. And with a podcast, I just actually realized that in March of 2025 it's going to be 2 years, so it's not a year. Like, oh my gosh. So the first year, we always knew like that we wanted to have conversation with amazing people about their defining moment, about defining moments in history, in the world, or just in somebody's life. But it's just, and it was like, we were like, should we do this? Should we do like this? And now we finally like come into a place where we know what kind of people we wanted to have, what we wanted to do. And I wanted to share something really quick. Like Bella and I have been talking about like, homelessness issue. We live in Denver and there's a huge issue with that, right? It's a rich city, yet we have unhoused population all over. And we were talking how we wanted to do something, and universe provided us like this two organization reach out to us who work with this with this issue, not just in Denver, but like in other states, and we're going to have somebody on the podcast, and Bella is doing, videos and stuff with them. So it's just like, when you really clear where you're going, even if you're going through the mess, it will come to you. But the perfection is, I don't know if I can curse, I probably can, but it's a bitch. I apologize if
No, I
that.
love it. I love it. Like, no, it's an interesting place here. So, one of the things that's really lovely is like this whole space is just about how do you be you, right? How do you be you, and how do you have that out in the world to be it? So, like, you can spell, you can talk, like, whatever it is. Sorry for any parents that are listening to this in the car. I get it. I'll make that global apology there, but at the same time, I want to leave space for things. Celeste, I saw you here. It looks like you wanted to say something. Bring it in.
Oh no, I just wanted to reiterate there's no such thing as perfect. And when it's called, what is it? Oh my God, now I forget, where you're paralysis of perfectionism, right? When you
Paralysis.
think things, paralysis or whatever. Yeah, I didn't say it right. But yeah, basically, there's no such thing as perfect. You can try your best, pivot, shift, pivot, shift. But if you're just taking that step forward is the most important, and take another step forward and take another step forward. It doesn't have to be at anybody's pace but your own. So I just wanted to add that in.
I feel you all in this here. It's funny because I think I have a version right now of perfectionism that I don't think I've put out into the world. I'll say it. But like right now I have a thing about completion. I'm like, I just want to get it complete. I don't need it to be perfect, but I do want it to get to be complete. And I'm wondering, as we're talking, I was like, I wonder if I'm one day going to become a recovering completionist. I just like, I'm like, I can start things and not finish it again. It was just where my MO used to be. Joseph, I'm curious what you're getting, because you brought up in the conversation a couple of times that you're like the seventh of seven children, and I'm curious, like, how you've leveraged that, how you're hearing this part of the conversation, and what it's bringing up for you, as the conversation evolves.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated by Isabella, Iryna and Celeste, part of explaining how they've been able to go through the hurdles that have come their way. Um, I see that to be an indication that it is possible for a time for a door to close for us. So I want those who are listening to us to pick this out of this conversation, that it is possible for a door to close for you. Many doors can close for you. You can begin something at one point, at the next point, it can be closed. But I've learned that when one door closes, another door opens. But sometimes we waste so much time looking at the closed door, we forget the door that has been opened. So looking at myself and the experiences that I've gone through, I've realized that sometimes your past can be a stepping stone. It can be the only thing that will help you to be able to cause the impact you want to cause. I've lived with my mother, and I've learned that people say, I don't know if any of my colleagues have heard, those who negate women think women cannot do anything worthwhile in life. But I believe and I know that women are powerful. I know that when women are given the chance, they can do and they can break out the best that they have. So I see this conversation and this point we are to be that whenever any door, any opportunity closes, another will be open. And we must always be alert that when it opens, we see the one that has opened and then go through it. And that is how it has always been happening. I think all of my colleagues will attest to it.
I appreciate all of you here. We probably have time for one more question, and then we're gonna do the wrap up. And so we'll put it in here. We'll see where it goes. But I'd like to know about like where your edges are now, right? And in particular, I'm curious about a project that you're super excited for, like really excited to bring to life, and at the same time, it kind of scares you, like it gives you that sweaty palms, right? You're like, oh, I have to actually grow in order to make this come to life here. And a lot of what we talked about are things that have happened in the past, but I think like the edge is like where we actually are. What are we actually creating right now? So I'm curious for any of you to share into our space here something that you are taking on that really excites you, but at the same time, like gets you, has you kind of nervous. Yeah, Isabella, please.
Okay, so just real quick, Joseph, you're amazing. Keep doing the work you're doing. Like just hearing about how you talk about women is very inspiring. But um we we do a podcast, but there's a project where we want to start. It's called Moments in the Community, where we go to local organizations and actually like go into these organizations and videotape and put out this footage. Like I said, I have a background in social media, so I really want to like do the nitty gritty, but it scares the heck out of me because that means talking to people like in person, and like, I'm a little antisocial, but it scares me, but it's also really exciting. And I feel like the universe is providing me with this opportunity, but it's also testing, like I have to grow. I have to be able to go into these spaces and trust in myself that I'm going to do the best job that I'm able to do. So that's how I'm feeling.
Yes, Bella taking on this project and she's going to be amazing. And if I can add something, so for me, like for the podcast, what I wanted to do is to start doing live shows, because I think somebody said recently, a big podcaster, the podcasting can be very like lonely job, right? Because you just, I mean, you talk to the person and then you upload, and then like, what else do you do? But like going and talking to live audience and talking to them about their defining moments, and kind of like, I have this idea cooking in my head, but I don't know yet. It's like, it's just when you start having this idea, but I don't know where it's going to take me, but I know we wanted to take the podcast out on the road. So maybe we'll come see you all at some point.
Yeah, let us let
That's
me know.
great. Yeah, that would be great.
that'd be really, really cool. I love
Yeah.
this. Like I feel like especially as there's more like AI and everything like that, like in real life is gonna really be a big place where people play. And so
Yes.
it's cool. It's cool to like take this community and take it from like an audio thing and actually like make it into something awesome. Cool, cool, cool.
Okay, I'm gonna go next. I
Yes.
love that you guys went. I have so many things going on right now. I'm trying to pick out which one I should talk about, but maybe I'll just quickly name off the top four. The first thing is I'm speaking on the biggest stage yet at University of Connecticut in April. So I'm constantly pushing myself and my speaking skills, which is very new. The second one is working with probably the biggest celebrity next month. The next one is creating a clothing line that coincides with my audience and my entrepreneurs. And I have just started. I don't want to say live podcasting, but I only do guest studio podcasting anymore, and it is unbelievable. I don't know why I waited so long, because this is my second podcast and it is like the best. But getting those bigger guests, just getting in and really like, yeah, it's been so good. So I just keep, every time I go out of town for an event, I'm like planning 3 people at once, and I'm just getting the studio and I'm just like boom, boom, boom. So it's really fun.
I thought, are you doing like when you go to an event, are you getting the studio in the location you're at, or do
Yeah.
they come in like,
Yes.
oh, that's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
So it's
And
always
hiring
in a studio.
videographers too. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're like, I'm playing the game. I'm
Yeah.
really taking it out there. And that's cool how you took it on the road that way. Cause in my mind, I was like, oh, you need to have them come into your space. And you're like, I'll just take my space wherever I go. I'll just hire whoever I
Yeah.
need to make it come.
Yeah.
That's
It's
cool.
been fun.
Yeah. Thanks, Celeste. Thank you. And I love hearing this here, like in the juxtaposition of everything. Like 2024 has been like, a lot of like reconfiguration. By the way, I have these 4 things that are just like coming up here out of like, and there's more here. And I outlined, I want to just talk to you for any of you that like are in that space. Like when it clicks, it really starts to click. And Celeste, I want to, like what I feel is like this like unleashing. You're just like, I want to do it, so let's do it. I want to do this. Let's go. Clothing brand, let's make it happen. And I really acknowledge you all for that. Thank you very much, Celeste. Awesome. And then Joseph, how about you? And then we'll wrap up for today.
Yeah, I share with Iryna and I share with Celeste. for my podcast and my social media handles, for those who have seen uh, the little things that I'm doing, my face is somehow not shown. I speak only a little, the intro and the outro. People don't really know me, but I have a little following. So I've decided I have two projects that I'm currently working on. I want to be able to set up my own studio. I think that my voice has to be heard because my voice can make a difference in somebody's life. The a change that we can make is to speak in somebody's life. You can direct the life of somebody by your voice alone. And I want my voice to be heard. I want to interact with my audience and everybody who follows me on
Right. That's like, I love
to
this element here.
reach
We're all like
a
stepping
wider
things up.
audience.
We're all stepping things up here, and I think there's coming in and out just a bit, but it's actually pretty a good time because we're going to be start transitioning to wrap up for today, right? Um, Outliers. Y'all have heard an amazing conversation with four incredible individuals who keep finding ways to up level, and there's something in there around just being in a place where you can actually impact someone by the gift of your story. And so my ask here is for any one of you that are listening to find one person in your life to share this episode with. We call it one person, one conversation at a time initiative. I really believe that, like, yes, you can go and share it on all of your platforms and put it out into the world, but where the real difference is going to be made beyond just anything that's like on the vanity side of things, the real difference is when we're going to be able to go to someone and say, I was thinking of you. There was some incredible conversation that took place in this episode. And given what you're going through or given what you're looking to do, here's the gift of that episode. So if you can, take some time, please, and just think of one person in your life who would receive this gift and offer it to them. All right. So, Celeste, Isabella, Iryna, Joseph, we've come to the part of the conversation where outliers are taken care of. You don't have to worry about them. They've gotten whatever outsides they've gotten. We're now going to wrap up by letting them know about how they can go deeper in your world. And then also you can share one insight that you got as a result of being here today. All right. And so I'm going to go through with this one here. We're going to share how they can go deeper with you and an insight or a takeaway that you're walking away with. And if you didn't get an insight, that's totally cool too. Just say that, right? I think this time around I'll go in generally reverse order. So I'll start off with Joseph, and then I'll go to Isabella.
Yeah, thank you very much. I picked my insights from both Celeste and Iryna. I've taken that to be something that I have to cherish, and that is I've written in my notes here that perfection is the killer of all joy. If we want to be perfect at everything we do, we might not help ourselves. We might not help our families. We might not help our colleagues at work, in our communities. And we must aim at improving ourselves. Once we start at anything, we must aim at improving ourselves. And just as you said, Neyama, let's look at completing projects than perfecting projects. And I know that once I incorporate this in my podcast, in my professional life, I'll be better off. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity.
Glad to hear. Isabella, and then Iryna.
Wow. So I agree with Joseph. I mean, just such incredible people. I feel like we just dove in and I like love all of you guys so much. And I think what I took out of this, I mean, I took so much out of it. Just connection and how beautiful human connection is. And when you get off of that surface level and really dive into people's stories and failures and perfectionism, it's really beautiful. And I just feel like that's something that I want to continue to take with me whenever I get scared of talking to people and that sort of thing, that people are people and they're beautiful and connection is amazing. How you can reach us is the handle at moments that define us on Instagram, social media, and momentsthatdefineus.com.
And also on all of your podcast platforms, it's Moments That Define Us podcast. We have a bunch of different episodes that you also can share with other people. And what I got from this, the reason I do the podcast because I love sitting down with people and hearing their stories. So hearing all of your stories was incredible because we all, from kind of, different parts of the world, different states of this country, we all do different things, and yet all of us five can come together in this virtual room and have a conversation. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, and that's why I do what I do. And I think all of you are doing an incredible work. And Joseph, I have to tell you, I think men who say that women are powerful and women can do so much, it's so incredible because we live in the world right now, especially in this country, where, women losing their rights and all of that and just being spoken to like so badly. So hearing a man saying that women are powerful is just, it gives me hope for the world. So I thank you for that.
You're always welcome. You're welcome.
You and Celeste, why don't you bring us home?
Yes. So I think that what the most thing that was insightful to me is yes, we are all human. We all have the same struggles and we all need connection in this lonely world of entrepreneurship. It's just, I think, Nyama, it's really about your community that you've built. There's all of these outliers that we all just need a place to hear how we've overcome, certain battles and how we continue to push and how we're different because not everybody does this. And I think as much as we're the same, we're also very unique in the sense that we want to strive for better. And it's a great place to do that. And I appreciate you having me on and meeting all of you guys and hearing your stories. Thank you. And you guys can find me at Celeste Moore Image pretty much on every platform or Celeste Moore. So I wish there was only one Celeste Moore, but that's not the case. So
Uh,
I had to add the image on there.
but it's still simple, still clean, and really, I really appreciate all of you. My heart
Yeah, can
grows
I
here.
say something?
Yeah, please, Joseph.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on what Iryna said. I think that the world is where we are because we have left the woman behind. Um, I'm a Christian, and I just want to bring this on board. When God created the universe and He left it to man, He left the man in charge of the woman. He said, everything you need, you meet it in the woman. So when we leave women behind, we have left the help that the world needs behind. So I think that um, by the things that we are doing and the little stones we are casting in the water and the ripples that will be coming, we'll be able to heal our world and heal all our lands that we have. And just want to chip this in that my maiden book is Never Again, 10 Proven Foundations for Meaningful and Fulfilling Godly Parenting. You can check that out on Amazon. I've shared my life, my experience, and my mother. The chapter 10 was devoted to my mom. I've spoken a lot about her and the impact she has had on me. I do what I do because of my mom. All I am and never hope to be, I owe to my mother. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you all here for making the time here for us to come together. Know that I appreciate you, and remember this, outliers. Go out in the world and be you on purpose. Journey on.